Welcome to Concrete Block, the podcast where we dive into the latest news and current events from around the world. I'm your host, Walter, and we're glad you're joining us today. We're starting off with a developing story that's been making headlines in recent days. The conflict in Gaza has been ongoing for some time now, with both Israel and Hamas trading blows and causing significant loss of life. However, it appears that there may be a glimmer of hope on the horizon, as U.S. President Donald Trump has announced that a peace deal between Israel and Hamas is very close. According to reports, Trump has been working closely with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to broker a deal, which would involve an immediate ceasefire, an exchange of hostages, and a staged Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. Hamas has reportedly agreed to release all hostages in return for Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails. However, despite this positive development, Israel has continued to carry out airstrikes and artillery shelling on Gaza, with the territory's civil defense agency reporting dozens of attacks in recent days. This has raised questions about whether a lasting peace can be achieved, given the ongoing violence. It's worth noting that the international community has been calling for an end to the conflict, with many countries expressing concern over the humanitarian situation in Gaza. The United Nations has estimated that over 60,000 people have been killed or injured in the conflict, and there are fears of a growing humanitarian crisis. Trump has said that he will push to finalize a deal between Israel and Hamas in the coming days, and has expressed optimism about the prospects for peace. However, others are more skeptical, given the complexity of the issue and the deep-seated divisions between the two sides. As we continue to follow this story, it's clear that there are many factors at play, and that a lasting resolution will require careful negotiation and compromise from all parties involved. We'll be keeping a close eye on developments in Gaza and bringing you updates as more information becomes available. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're glad you're still with us as we dive into the world of current events. Today, we're exploring a significant development in Japanese politics that could have far-reaching implications for the country and its relationships with other nations. In a recent leadership election, Sanae Takaichi was chosen as the new leader of Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party. This move is expected to have a profound impact on the country's direction, both domestically and internationally. As the party with the most seats in the lower house, the LDP's choice of leader typically becomes the Prime Minister of Japan. Takaichi's election has been seen as a shift towards a more conservative stance for the party, which could influence policies on issues like defense spending, trade agreements, and social welfare programs. Her leadership style and priorities will be closely watched by observers around the world, particularly in light of upcoming diplomatic engagements, including a possible summit with U.S. President Donald Trump. It's worth noting that Takaichi's campaign focused on strengthening the U.S.-Japan alliance, which she views as essential for regional stability and security. She also emphasized the need for increased defense spending and a more robust military presence to counterbalance growing global tensions. However, some critics have raised concerns about Takaichi's views on social issues, including her stance on historical controversies and her approach to dealing with foreign workers in Japan. These concerns highlight the complexities of Japanese politics and the challenges that Takaichi will face as she navigates the country's intricate web of alliances, interests, and priorities. As we consider the implications of this leadership change, it's essential to acknowledge the diverse perspectives and opinions within Japan and beyond. We'll continue to monitor developments and provide updates as more information becomes available. For now, let's take a step back and assess the broader context of Japanese politics and its place in the global landscape. The country's relationships with neighboring nations, its economic strategies, and its role in regional security frameworks will all be influenced by Takaichi's leadership. As we move forward, it will be crucial to maintain a nuanced understanding of these complex issues and to consider multiple viewpoints. By doing so, we can foster a more informed and thoughtful discussion about the future of Japan and its position on the world stage. Stay tuned for our final story of the day, right here on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. we're wrapping up today's show with a look at the latest developments in international politics. As you may have heard, populist billionaire Andrej Babis has won the Czech parliamentary election, marking a significant shift in the country's stance on various global issues. According to official results, Babis's ANOYES movement captured 35% of the vote, followed by the pro-Western coalition of Prime Minister Petr Fiala with 23%. This outcome is expected to have far-reaching implications for the Czech Republic's relationships with other nations, particularly in regards to its support for Ukraine. It's worth noting that Babis has been vocal about his skepticism towards providing military aid to Ukraine and has also expressed reservations about increasing defense spending as part of NATO commitments. These views align with those of Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán and Slovakian Prime Minister Robert Fico, who have similarly taken a more pro-Russian stance. The Czech Republic's previous government had been a strong supporter of Ukraine, providing significant military aid and backing EU sanctions against Russia. However, with Babis at the helm, it remains to be seen whether this level of support will continue. As we analyze this development, it's essential to consider the potential consequences for regional stability and global geopolitics. The Czech Republic's shift in stance could have a ripple effect, influencing the decisions of other European nations and potentially altering the balance of power in the region. It's also important to recognize that Babis's victory is a reflection of the complex and often contradictory nature of modern politics. While some may view his win as a triumph for populist ideologies, others may see it as a concerning sign of rising nationalism and decreased cooperation among nations. As we conclude today's episode, we encourage our listeners to stay informed about these developments and consider multiple perspectives on the issue. The Czech parliamentary election serves as a reminder that politics is constantly evolving, and it's crucial to remain engaged and aware of the changing landscape. That's all for today's Concrete Block. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay informed.